Good evening, everyone. On behalf of Amrita, Vidyapeetham, I would welcome you all to today's session on Life Beyond Exams. Today, we have with us Maheshwara Chaitanya Swami, Chairman BTech Admissions, Amrita Vidyapeetham, who has 14 years of teaching experience in the field of computer science and engineering. He also serves as the contest director of ICPC Amrita Vidyapeetham for the past 10 years. Today, we also have with us Mrs. Shibi Anand, who is a computer science educator from the past 18 years and is currently working as IT head, program coordinator, and department head of computer science at Excelsior English School, Kottayam, Kerala. I cordially welcome you both to today's webinar. Today, before we start, dear attendees, please note that if you have any queries in between the session, please type it in the chat box. We will be addressing all your questions at the end of the session. Now, without further ado, I would like to invite Mrs. Shibi Anand, a passionate being who believes in die empty, hence share whatever little she knows with others. She's a Toastmaster, a chairperson of All Ladies League, Kottayam, a council member of WICCI Mental Health Council, a podcaster, a content curator, and an entrepreneur. And she is the founder of Summer Pebbles, an L&T platform for children. She believes in the mantra, a teacher who dare to teach can never cease to learn. I'm immensely happy to welcome Shibi ma'am to give the session introduction.
Thank you. Thank you, Naja, for those words of welcome. And namaste, everyone who has joined us. I think we just started the program and there were around 1,000 plus registration, and we can see 69 people on board who value the time. So we would not waste your time. We'll start right away with the core of the session. Why this session and why now? I'm borrowing Raya Bidshari's thoughts on education without exams. Traditional education is built around exams and test scores, and most teachers are evaluated based on their students' grades. The vast majority of teaching hours are focused on teaching the curriculum in accordance with national or international board exams. For most schools, grades are the primary method of accountability. And for most nations, they are the metric that policymakers evaluate. For most parents, it is the main indicator of their child's success. There is no denying that a student's performance on a test or exam does not tell us much about their leadership skills, ability to collaborate in teams, navigate the complexities of a professional environment, or come up with groundbreaking ideas. We continue to let students and society at large believe that a greater number of A's is an indication of success, while anything lower than C is often an indication of failure. For many students, it becomes a main measure of their talent, potential, self-worth, and even status in society. Little do they know that we are lying to them. The traditional narrative around exams is toxic, flawed, and simply outdated in the digital age. The obsession with test scores continues to be a huge barrier in innovation in education. And this is because it leaves very little bandwidth for schools to focus on things that actually matter. The system wrongly pressures most students to prioritize their grades over real-life experiences, creative projects, networking opportunities, and skill development. And the possibility of a lower grade often demotivates many students from pursuing alternative paths in education. Another failing of our educational model, I'm sorry to cite so many, you need to be convinced why you are here today, is we don't put enough emphasis on developing positive personality traits such as self-responsibility, kindness, empathy, wisdom, love for learning, curiosity, or even powerful enlightenment values. Young people need guides and mentors to not only help them acquire professional skills, but also to develop their personal growth. So today, we have one such mentor, Maheshwara Chaitanya ji, for taking us through life beyond exams. So get ready to learn, unlearn, and relearn. Over to you, Maheshwara ji.
Thank you, Shibi, for the wonderful words and the explanation, the great explanation you had. So today being Sunday, I think most of the students are into weekend business. So that maybe that is the reason why the participation is less, but it's fine. Those we value the time, those who are here. I will start with the quote by our famous scientist APJ Abdul Kalam. I hope you can see the screen, right? Okay, fine. So all of us do not have equal talent, but we do have the opportunity. So how is it possible for you to grab that opportunity to talent or to upskill yourself, or to make yourself more creative through different type of learning? So let us discuss about what is life beyond exams. So we will have a few pointers here. In fact, these points evolved when we start discussing about this session. One is the first and important thing is openness to learning, and how you learn beyond the syllabus and curriculum. Then how you develop the skills to question, not from the wrong way, from the right way, right perspective, to understand more, to learn more. How is it possible to cope up with the failure and understand yourself, explore what all talents or what all is the potential, how to be flexible. Careers and interests definitely will change, because that is what now we have been experiencing in the past 1.5 years. And how you balance between the marks and skills. What is skill, and why do we need skill? What is mark, or importance of marks in life? And how you become a self-learner, which is very, very, very important at this age. And how do you plan? And few bits and bytes here and there, which will be the final takeaway in this session. So the openness to learning is you go beyond the conditioning. See, I have seen a lot of students, or the students in computer science or mechanical engineering, saying that they are not able to learn the other branch subjects in the other branch. Why is it so? The reason is your mind is not open, your mind is conditioned, or your mind is blocked in such a way that you feel, or you think, you assume that you won't be able to learn other subjects. And never ever, see, when you start learning, let it be in school, let it be in college, or even after college, you have to start exploring the resources. What all are the resources available based on your interest? And the successful career, if you want to succeed in any career, you have to be open to learning. It is impossible otherwise. Because you see, when you are in a class, you are in a competition, right? Whether it is healthy competition or not, but you are in a competition and you are in a race condition. That will be more and more stiff when you come to the industry, because when you come to the industry, you are responsible, you are paid, and how you keep yourself updated, that will define how far you can survive. And the learning itself, the more you learn, you become a problem solver, and you start thinking from different dimensions to solve a problem. That is what we call as the critical skills, critical thinking skills. And you start unlearning, learn to unlearn. So whatever you have learned, it may be obsolete in the next 10 years. That said, you have to keep yourself updating. See, imagine I am sitting now in Kerala, and she be sitting in Kerala itself in different location, and all of us are sitting in totally different geographical locations. We never thought that such a session will happen maybe 2 years back. We never expected that technology will take a ride on education, and that is what is happening now. And we never stopped. We adapted. We were able to accept the change forcefully, even forcefully, but still we changed. So that is what practical learning is. And you have to survive. You can survive only if you are open to learning. So I just cite one of the students, my own student. She's Karthika Nair. She's currently in the UAE, and she is the product support engineer at Collins Aerospace. You can just go from the bottom. She was a computer science graduate. She was so passionate about mechanical engineering, and our university gave her opportunity to complete even mechanical engineering in 1 year time, only by taking the courses that is required for mechanical engineering mechanical engineering degree. After that, she left to Arizona, US, and she completed her MS in aerospace. You see how she traveled from computer science to mechanical engineering to aerospace. And now she is handling the project of Etihad Airlines in UAE. So this is how your mind has to be. Be open to learning and never stop. In the sense that go beyond the syllabus, go beyond the curriculum. I have seen a lot of students saying that, sir, this question I learned for 2 marks, but you asked for 10 marks. So how is it possible for you to explain a concept? How is it possible for you to explain a concept whether it is 2 marks or 10 marks? So that difference you have to bear in mind. And I have seen, students asking the seniors, sir, which subject, Cheta, which subject to take for in the next year as elective, and which one is the easy one? See, you have to choose yourself based on your skills, based on your interest, based on your passion, based on what you want to be. And if you start participating in the competitions and challenges, you can gain a lot of knowledge, practical experience, and you understand where you stand. And I know quite a large number of students nowadays go into projects. They go for internships. They hunt for internships. And you can analyze case studies. Now whether you are an English student, whether you are a biology student, whether you are a math student, humanities student, this pandemic has affected all the domains. And there are a lot of case studies available. If you go to any online portal, you can find out different type of case studies, how the vaccine has been improving in India, or how the infection has been going up and how it came down. A lot of case studies, understand about that. And online reading and research will definitely help you to go beyond the curriculum, that also based on your interest only. And you understand, you can see, now the thing is, whatever is required under the sun, it is available in Google. And there are a lot of foreign universities publishing a lot of papers, a lot of articles in the web. So why don't you go to their website, understand what is happening on the other side, and try to learn from them. Education and knowledge is always exchange, right? We give some knowledge to them and they give some knowledge to us. So it's an exchange and sharing of ideas and concepts. So there is no harm in going behind, hunting for more and more resources, more and more articles. And our basic culture itself is to ask questions, because that is a sign of a curious mind. The curious mind means there is a question. There is always a question. In fact, I used to when I used to teach, I used to encourage the questioning skills of the students, because that is how I understand what their level is, so that I can come down to that level and teach them and bring them up. And that the questioning alone will satisfy curiosity. See, there are two ways in which, or two options or two scenarios in which you don't ask question. Either you understood everything, or you don't understand everything. You haven't understood anything. So either in either case, it's always better, whenever you feel to ask. That is what in the beginning itself, this session, Nija said that in case if you have any doubts, you just type the question in the chat box, so that we will be very much willing to help you in clarifying the doubts. So suddenly somebody has asked, what is the rank required in entrance examination to get CSE? I'll answer that. Now that is not important. Certainly it will be important at some point of time, that we will clarify. So when you start questioning from different dimensions, you'll be able to learn more and more. And that skill you have to develop, asking the questions at the appropriate level for your own development. So learning is not just reading. Learning is also through questioning, asking more and more questions, asking the doubts. Let it be a mistake, let it be a blunder, but you still have to ask. And there are a lot of students, wonder why I failed. See, failure is, there is nothing called as failure, in fact. That is only a word which makes us more and more depressed, maybe I should say. It's only a learning experience. See, even I have failed several times in several tasks, not in subject, but in several tasks I have failed. I failed to achieve something, but I never stopped. One of the best examples I should cite is Dr. K. Shivan. When the mission failed and he cried in front of the public, but he never stopped. So that is how it has to be. See, There is nothing, we are not doing in rocket science. We are not learning in rocket science. And whatever you have to learn or whatever you are supposed to learn, it is always achievable. There is it's always achievable by taking some struggle, taking some challenges and risks. So don't take it always a personal failure, because it is a part of the life. Success and failure is a part of the life. So you learn the situation, adapt to it, and move forward. Because see, if at the school level, if at the college level, if you take these failures as personal failures, then what will you do when you go to a company? What will happen when you are part of a company, when you have a responsibility? How will you cope up? So you have to start training your mind now itself. And never, do not expect much of the approvals. Do not expect approvals from others. It is not required. And do not wait for that approval, in the sense that people appreciate, people certify. Let them certify, never mind, but you have to move forward. And once you take too much of it, what happens is, the next time you will expect, and your the whole effort will be to get appreciation, get a kind of approval from others. So never do that. And the moment you are fearful, it will lose your productivity. So imagine, you keep thinking of what the results will be, or you keep thinking of the marks. What marks will you gain? What is going to happen? Nothing is going to happen. Nothing will happen. And one thing is very clear, that your entire mindset is behind the results, and you won't be able to learn anything. And by thinking of that alone, is it going to help you? Never. It will not help you. And ultimately, you may end up with getting best results, but you have wasted all the time by thinking only about the consequences. So leave that alone, leave that aside, and focus on what you can learn now. So that is why I got the quote from Abdul Kalam: do not read success stories, because you have some message in that. If you are able to find out the failure stories, then you will get some ideas to succeed. There are the famous portal called as Book My Show, the famous portal called as Zomato. All of them failed initially, failed miserably. They could succeed only after some time, and they never gave up. So that is how the attitude has to be. Now, how you explore? See, we know a lot of behavioral patterns within, but at the same time, there are a lot of behavioral patterns which we don't know. We haven't come across several patterns, unless otherwise you are in a situation. See, when you are alone, how you behave. When you are in a team, how you behave. In the same team, if it is a competition, how you behave. What is your thought process? What is the kind of attitude you will have while working in a team, especially in a project or in a competition? So these are some of the behavioral patterns you are expected to understand. So you have to understand both your strength as well as the weakness. Understand your knowledge. What all knowledge I have, what all are the skills I have, what all are my behavioral patterns, and be adaptive. Always be adaptive to the changing situation. And that is what we are experiencing now. And whatever weakness is there, you identify, you can always overcome. So there is nothing which you cannot overcome in life. Definitely it is possible, but at the same time, you have to be aware of the weakness, and you have to find out a solution. And there is always a solution for any problem under the sun. And one of the best ways to exhibit yourself, to explore yourself, is to practice some social projects or competitions and be part of a team. So you understand where you stand in the team. You may be the topper in the team, or you may be the end of the team, but still you have a room to learn. You still have an opportunity to improve yourself, and then you start unlocking the potential. So it is not something which is not possible. It is definitely possible. But exploring your own behavioral pattern at this age will certainly help you to again train yourself at this age itself, before you are getting responsible, or before you get some responsibilities. You see, the students, when coming to the college, I handle the admissions. So I know when they come to the first year, they feel that they have so much of freedom, because they are coming from the school, and there's a transition period. But after first year, they realize that this is more this is more strict. when they go to a company, they feel that again they have got freedom because they are in their own world. But after a while they realize that, okay, I'm employed now and I'm responsible for so many things. Then you are tied up. So once you get the responsibility, generally the learning ability will come down, that you have to train it now itself. So so that what happens is, when you are with a responsibility, and when you have to survive, you are expected to survive, retain that job or climb that career ladder. It is very important you train it at this age itself, either at the school level or at the college level. That alone will help. There are a lot of jobs which will just vanish in the next 3 or 4 years. What is the option? The only option is to upskill yourself. And you cannot say that I don't know. You cannot say that this was not taught in the class, this was not part of the syllabus. Certainly not possible. They will say that you just leave, that's it. So that is how you have to understand the seriousness. So once you go beyond the curriculum, understanding yourself, be open to learning, that will certainly help you to succeed in career. And always be flexible. See, now what is happening? We are all working online, we are all teaching online, we are all learning online, and we are now flexible enough to adjust with this situation, so that we don't feel that we need to meet physically. All the meetings are now virtual. There is no need for people to go and meet some person. So that is flexibility. And when you start adapting to a situation, you become flexible. And mind you, flexibility is at the mind and the way in which you think, your attitude. And you have to compromise in situations somewhere. See, now I know a lot of students were so much apprehensive, so much scared about what will happen to exams, what will be the results. You see, if you look beyond 5 years, let us say, or 3 or 4 years, when you get an admission in a college and you are in the final year, you will start hunting for a job. Then you come back, you just travel back to this situation. You feel it is a comedy, because beyond this there are a lot of examinations that is waiting for you. The plus 2 exam is not the end of life. You will have semester examinations in every year. You will have yearly examinations. Every day it may be an evaluation. And what will happen once you are placed? Even there it is an exam. Maybe it is not based on the marks, it is based on your performance. So exams will never end. This is only a beginning. So do not fear about the exam. Always think about how you can perform well. And mind you, this examination results is only for the admissions, not beyond that. So once you are in a job, performance will speak. That is more important. So you have to keep nurturing your strength. What is the strength you have? You keep nurturing, and always be ready to change the plan. See, today you see that there are a lot of technologies coming up, right? And after 4 years, after 5 years or 6 years, when you are out from the college, it may be changing. It will keep changing. And so whatever you see today may not be available after 6 years. Then you have to change. So the changing attitude, the adapting to and being flexible, that is very, very critical at this point of time. Now, see, there are a lot of students who ask me if it is good to go for engineering, or they can opt for any science programs. See, or which is the best course for me. See, being an admission chairman or being a teacher, I will not say that this course is good, this course is bad. Certainly not. See, it has to be your responsibility. You have to understand your potential. And beyond understanding, you realize the potential. How do you realize the potential? That's what I said. You participate in competitions. You experience the taste of failure in competitions. Then understand your potential. Then you find out what is your strength. And based on that, you always start climbing the ladder of the career. And there are two things. One is your potential, other is your interest. So sometimes this may be conflicting. You may have potential to solve a problem using something. At the same time, you may not be interested in going to that domain, that field. So you have to make a choice. And you always have to have a list of options. If you have a list of options, then you will not get upset. So always what happens is I need computer science. People will come for counseling and they will say that I need computer science. See, okay, you need computer science for what reason? Somebody told that computer science is good, or my friend told that computer science is good, or my parents are pressuring to take me computer science, or any branch. Computer science, I just took an example. But ultimately, is it that you want? See, how do you analyze? How is it possible for you to analyze it? Understand what is best for you. That can happen only once you realize the potential. And whatever I told in the previous slides, you participate in challenges, you participate in competition, because nowadays there are a lot of companies targeting the students. Governments target the students. There are Olympiads hosted by state governments, central governments. You just participate in it. There are a lot of quiz programs going on, online quiz program. You just participate. Whether it is helpful or not, do not think about that. You can at least understand your competitiveness. You can at least understand how far you are able to solve the problem in a minimum time. And you always go with the passion, because interest might change. Passion may change. Today, this may not be, this is the passion. Tomorrow it might change. Because now everybody wants to go behind artificial intelligence. Whether they know or not, I don't know. But people keep talking about AI, AI, AI. What is AI? So that is what you have to explore, and always think twice or thrice, and let it boil in the mind. So once your brain starts smoking, then you understand, okay, this is not right for me, or this is the way forward. Now, how do you balance between the skills and mark? See, a skill, if you understand theory, you must be able to put it into practice. If you know, it is we always talk about the swimming classes online. You cannot teach swimming classes online, and you cannot learn swimming by correspondence course or distance education. It's impossible. So unless otherwise you start practicing what is taught in the class, which is very, very critical, and that will define how far you can perform. And as I suggested, mark is only an entry point. It's only an entry point. We talk only about the eligibility. That is not the deciding factor, especially in this year. Maybe in the next year also. We don't know. But at the same time, one thing you have to understand, once you get into college, there are still examinations. There are still a lot of assignments waiting for you. There is evaluation, assessment, online exams. Everything will be repeated for 3 or 4 years or 5 years, depending on which degree you pursue. So performance is the ultimate thing, and that those 4 years or 5 years, that will define your future. So before entering into any college or higher education, make sure that you are trained well, so that you are skilled enough. That is the whole backbone of national education policy. The national education policy talks only about skills, which is very, very crucial, even for teachers as well as for the students. And it is not possible to learn this skill. You have to earn it. How do you earn it? By practicing. It is not just possible otherwise. Because, suppose if I am asked to teach classes online, I have to learn it before, right? Prior to the classes, I have to learn how an online platform works. I have to practice it several times. Then only I can deliver a class. So that is the same thing happens when you learn about physics, when you learn about mathematics or chemistry or whatever. Now you see, you can see a lot of graphs, lot of visualizations that is published by governments, state governments and central governments about the vaccination, about the infection. Everything is the fundamental of all this is mathematics. Without mathematics, it is not impossible to do visualizations of data. So that is how the things are changing. So those skills, you need to have practical skills. And why you want to be a self-learner? See, I have seen the students asking for training, employees asking for training, staff members asking for training. Ultimately, why do you need training? Training is required only if you are not able to learn by yourself. So the moment you are a self-learner, it is a very great achievement in life. I have experienced it, because I started my +2 or pre-degree with commerce group. Then I went for BCom. Then I switched to computer science. and it was a long journey for me to switch from commerce to computer science. But I was able to do it with self-effort, only with self-effort. Now you have a lot of materials available at the fingertips. You just take the mobile phone, search, and you get the data. You get the material, you get the videos. Those days, internet itself was very tough. To get a connectivity, I had to sit in the midnight. I had to wait to get a computer. I had to wait to get the internet connectivity, and I had to wait for to get a very good book. Now that everything is available online, so why don't you utilize those materials available in the internet? And you always try to connect theory with practice. Practical application is very, very important. And you keep thinking about it, review it periodically, keep thinking about it, find out the examples, find out the applications so that it is never erased from your memory. And you think from a global perspective, because nowadays being a student or an employee, whoever it is, let it be even for including me, even now I learn looking at the foreign website, international websites from international universities. There is a lot to learn. See, learning, self-learning is a skill, and even that is an achievement. I would say that's an achievement. So keep learning yourself. That will certainly help you, because you don't need much of the help, and you are totally independent. You are not dependent on anybody. But at the same time, you can keep discussing about this in groups. Now there are a lot of online groups. You can talk about the topic to the faculty or your students or the teachers or your own classmates. So all this will make the session or the learning and very, very, very rich. And as I pointed out earlier, why do we need multiple plans? See, whatever it is, I am just citing the example of higher education. Even if it is, at the end of your degree, let us say you have got multiple options, the job offers, which one you select, or you got an offer, whether you choose or not, or you want to plan for another offer, or you are waiting for another offer. Just like that, you always have a list of options. You see, a lot of students write NEET exam, a lot of students write JE exam, or a lot of students write a lot of entrance examination. Ultimately, is that the only option you have, or is that the only option you should have? No, I will say no. See, let us say you are not able to get into medicine. What is the next option? You have dentistry or you have Ayurveda. Do you want to go for that, or you want to wait for one more year? One more year and try to secure a better rank. Let us say engineering. This branch is not available. What is the next branch option available? So you should have plans for that. There are programs in biotechnology. There are programs in agriculture. There are integrated programs available now. Molecular biology. See, there are plenty of programs available now based on your interest. The only thing is that you have to take some effort. You need to utilize the time to search, to find out what is best for you. Prepare a list of courses, prepare a list of colleges for each course, and learn more and more about it, because there are a lot of videos available. There are a lot of materials available in the internet that will help you to gather more and more information. So once you are not focusing on single path, you will get to know about multiple paths. Even that also is a learning. We don't know how when this knowledge will be helpful for you. So that is one of the important things factors to remember when you set up a career goal. And make sure that you are realistic when you plan, when you expect, or even the timelines. That is more and more critical. So how do you utilize this time? So you should have a goal. The first thing is to have a goal. It is not hoping, it is not just thinking, it is not just dreaming, but make sure that you have a goal. Set it up now itself. What is a short-term goal? Short-term goal is to find out the best option for you, best career option for you. That will happen in next 3 or 4 months time. And look out for the best colleges, look out for the best degrees, understand your potential, and learn about the skills. What skills? Skills to succeed. What all are the skills to succeed? Problem solving, critical thinking, communication. These are the skills. And find out what all may be the obstacles in this path. So you want to get into a premier university, and they have the entrance examination. And what all are the topics you need to learn, and what all are the resources you can gather in this period of time. So that's an action plan. And always depend on teachers to ensure that your doubts are clarified. So maximum possible, you have to attend live sessions, go for online courses, certification, because you just type your topic of interest and online courses, you get the list. And most of the courses are now free. So how do you plan the career? Now it is the right time. You first identify the career options, prioritize. You think and prioritize. You have to keep your mind rolling. Keep thinking about it. Even whatever you do, whenever it is, you keep thinking about the career. Compare everything and consider the factors, whether it is good or bad, from different dimensions. It can be pay scale. It can be the stress level. If you get into that career, will you become stressful? Even that is important. Or you may have to take some risk. Is that possible for you with the family, given family background? So all these things are very important. And make a choice. Finally, you make a choice. And if you're not able to get into that choice, you go for the next one, because you already have a list of options. Now, what is the takeaway for the teachers? So first thing is, teachers and parents, I want to mention that you have to identify the skills and the talents among the children or the students, which is very crucial, which I have seen very, very less in the education sector in India. Nurture the talents. There are a lot of parents I have seen that they're fearful about sending the children for competitions, because in case if they fail, it is a bad image for them. I don't think that will create a lot of problems. Rather, it will give some exposure to the child, and always give them the resources. Always encourage them to learn maximum possible materials, maximum possible contacts. And the first thing is that teachers and parents are expected to keep updated in technology. I'm not saying that they have to go deep into it, but at least at the surface level, they are expected to have a good understanding about technology. And give them flexibility in choosing the career. Let them choose, let them be responsible in choosing their career. And as teachers, it is always possible to expose the students to multiple opportunities, multiple career opportunities, and never ever impose the career on children. Because I have seen in my class, when I used to teach in my class, almost like 30% of the students said that they came not out of interest. They came because of the pressure, which should never happen, which is very, very important. Now, let me conclude the session. And these three eminent personalities, everybody knows. Elon Musk failed, and he got so much insulted by one of the countries I don't want to name, but he is now able to pay it back by coming up with his own company, and now he is into digital currency or cryptocurrency. He says that it is possible for ordinary people to choose to be extraordinary. Definitely it is possible. He speaks from his own experience. And Steve Jobs says that your time is limited, so don't waste living someone else's life. Now we are behind people, more or less, most of these children are behind people like celebrities, which is not of any use in life. So you think of how people can be useful in your life. You think of people whom you can make a role model in life, and do not imitate. You take whatever is good. You take whatever is good in your life. And why goal setting? Bill Gates says that most people overestimate what they can do in 1 year and underestimate what they can do in 10 years. So never underestimate yourself. That is the key message here. And let me stop with my chancellor's quote. When difficult circumstances arise in life, don't run away in fear. Rather, kindle the love within and try to overcome them. Because when you start loving yourself, things will be very, very easy. Otherwise, you will find very, very difficult, even in the case of failures. So that's all for this session. I'll be glad to take questions now, Shibi.
Yes, there are a lot of questions, and I would be taking it up. But before that, that was really a comprehensive talk, Swamiji. And for a moment, I forgot that I was a moderator. I became a student, and earnestly, I was trying to absorb everything that was shared. There are a few questions in the chat box which are not related to exams or anything, but general questions. The first question that came up on the chat box was, how can we address questions to our teachers who have a tendency to get irritated rather quickly, perhaps because of their current mental state? Being an educator, even I would like to know your views on that. This question is from Alina.
Try to question personally, not in the class.
Alina, I hope you got the answer. How can we handle the most embarrassing situations in life? It's a question by Shweta.
It is something what I already told. Embarrassing is for ourselves, right? If we take it as an embarrassment, it is an embarrassment. If we take it lightly, there is nothing more in this. See, what will happen? See, people will change their thoughts after some point of time. Rather, I would say that embarrassment has to be taken as a learning experience and try to achieve why is it that you got embarrassed. There is some situation, there has been some lapse or a mistake from your side, so you have to overcome that over a period of time and prove it is possible.
Don't take it personally, try to identify why are you feeling embarrassed. Yes. You have to identify that was there anything really embarrassing that we have to reflect on. Actually, that is what Swamiji said. There's one very interesting question. My school discourages curious minds like me and have made me to hate studies. Please tell me a way to bring back my inner curiosity.
Wonderful question. See, yes. The thing is, even I was reading the one of the books. So what I will answer is, school and the classroom is not just, or I should say that there are a lot of rooms, there are a lot of spaces available for you now, because it is internet. Internet is powerful, so powerful that you can explore a lot. I know students who undergo open schooling. There is a school in Chennai where there are 150 students undergoing open schooling. They come there for training, but the +2 everything they do open. Open schooling in the sense they learn by themselves. I met one of the boys from Kadalur. Kadalur is in Tamil Nadu, a coastal area. He came for a programming contest. And his father is just a middle income. He's from middle income family, and his father also came. And he said that this guy is spending almost like 9 hours in front of computer, and he's in the 8th or 9th class or 10th class. He spent hours in front of the computer. He is able to find out or satisfy his passion. So he is not limiting his thoughts and learning in the walls of a classroom or the school. So you have enormous opportunities now. There are plenty of opportunities if you go online, because now that mobile phone or laptop is not a barrier for you, because the entire learning happens online. So you have internet available, you have laptop or mobile available. So why don't you explore outside this school? Why don't you explore outside the class? It is certainly possible. The only thing is that one thing I understood from your question is there is a passion, there is some fire within you. So that burn that fire, come out of the thought process and ignore. Now you are experiencing that in the school. The same thing you can even experience when you join a company. Even that can happen there also. What will you do? So you have to think beyond the classrooms, beyond the school. There are a lot of spaces available now. So go with that online space. That will help you a lot.
There is one question from a student. How can we analyze our own strengths and weaknesses and upgrade ourselves? I think Swamiji answered this question while he was taking the session. The only way to do is to expose yourself to a lot of things. Quizzes, creative projects, team collaborations. So Swamiji, would you like to attend it once again? How can we analyze our own strengths and weakness and upgrade our skills?
See, there are options like psychometric test. There is something called a psychometric test, which is now freely available. Even we have that. Psychometric test will create a report based on your potential as well as based on your interest. So with that, you can identify what career is best for you, and that will give a detailed report. For example, maybe like 10 or 12 pages report. You can read and find out whether it is correct or not, and based on that you can move forward. Other way is to get exposed, participate in competitions, be a part of a team. Online competitions or offline competitions or quiz competitions, let it be anything. You keep participating in competitions, increase your competitiveness, then you understand what is best for you or what is your potential.
There's a question: how do you foresee a future without any boundaries of exams and the integration of knowledge and skills?
You have to think from totally different dimensions. Why is it that you need an exam? Because ultimately, when you go for employment, ultimately the objective is to get a job, right? To settle with a good job in career. So if you look from examination point of view, and if you are looking only from examination point of view, I will say that is completely nonsense. You can always attend the examinations, or examinations are good if you take it from the right perspective. See, if you are able to get that skills and then you write the examination, you have both in hand. You have the qualification and you have the skill. Without going to the skills or without having the skills, you go for examination and you get very good marks in examination, but you don't have the skills. The students who go for coaching, I have heard a term that cracking the entrance examination. There is nothing called as cracking entrance exam. And let me tell you, cracking the entrance examination is possible for anybody if you go train, if you undergo training for hours and hours every day. It is possible, because ultimately that is also training your mind to solve a problem, right? But what will happen when it comes to a problem solving session? You will find it very difficult, because I have seen students who undergo IIT JEE coaching, join our university, and they are not able to perform well in academics. Whereas those who are not undergoing entrance coaching, they have the practical ability to solve a problem. So both are different. Skill is very important. Those who crack the examination may not have skills. I'm not saying that they won't have, may not have. A large number of students I have seen. He may be a top ranker, but he may not be able to solve a problem given a real life situation. So both are important. You pass the examination, you understand theory, but at the same time you understand the practical application also, because that is more important. And nobody will ask you about physics and mathematics in the companies you join. Nobody will ask. Nobody will ask what topics you learned in +2. Definitely no. But ultimately they will ask about how you solve this problem. For that you need to have answer.
How to motivate a student? Sometimes very difficult to make a student try something or take up an assignment. How to motivate them to try with practice tests and excel in coming tests? So, I think the concern of a teacher.
So the first answer is motivate yourself first. The moment you motivate yourself, students will be motivated. That is my own experience. There is no need to motivate them. They will be behind you if you are motivated. Self-motivation is very, very important. See, that is this last slide which I mentioned. First love yourself, and have a passion towards teaching. These two components are very, very important. Rest everything will come. The rest everything will follow. There is no doubt about that. So if you are motivated by yourself, definitely things will change. And to answer to this question is, whenever you talk about a concept, whenever you talk about any topic in any subject, let it be anything, even if it is in English. I'm assuming that you are an English teacher, so you can even talk about the fake news that is generated by in websites. The way the language used by people. So if you bring in practical applications,
Okay.
practical things in life, real life situations in life.
Okay. There was one question in the chat box that asked, does Amrita promote spirituality? One second, I'll just that question. Yes, does Amrita encourage spiritual growth? I think learning spirituality will make us mentally strong. Your thoughts on that?
See, spirituality is generally understood wrongly, in fact. Because spirituality is not just sitting, closing your eyes and doing meditation. It is not spirituality. Spirituality is to see positive things in everything, generally. And try to help others, try to serve others. It is not doing, as you say, service is an attitude, basically. So certainly, yes, we have some sort of education. We call it as value-based education, and it is not taught in classrooms. We give opportunities for the students to be part of the social projects where they can find out the real issues faced by the society. And whatever you learn in the classroom, you come up with a solution to solve that problem. So that is real spirituality as I understand. It is not sitting inside a room, definitely not. So from that perspective, yes, it is not just like teaching how to meditate. No, there's something like that.
Isn't having different plans for our future an insult to our main dream and our own potential? Or in other words, having a plan B, isn't it meant for losers?
See, it will totally depend on your goal. See, suppose if you want to achieve a position, let us assume that you want to become a richest person, maybe Fortune 500 company owner or CEO. So what will you do? You definitely have to work, right? So either one company or the other company. When you climb the ladder or when you climb the stairs, you are always pushing one step down. By pushing one step down alone, you can climb. Climbing is going up, so which means that you have to push one step down, then you climb. So definitely, if you think it is an insult, it is an insult. It can be it can be thought from other perspective. It can be a better option. You can say that that's the best option for me, and that will depend again on what you want to be. Whether you want to have the best career. There are students who tell me, sir, I don't want a bigger position. I just need a peace of mind, and I don't want to be part of the competition. I just need peace of mind. Then if you tell him that, okay, you are losing this, no, he will not accept, because he is very convinced that I just need a peace of mind. Somebody will come and say that I need a very good salary, very good package. Okay, so it depends on what your objective is in life. There is, mind you, there has to be a purpose in life. Purpose in life will define this. So you think whether you are a loser or not, whether you're insulting your dream or not.
Thank you, Swamiji. How do I manage time between learning in classroom, online, and working part-time?
Everybody asks this question, the time management. Let me make it very clear. The time taken by you to complete a task, and how far are you able to reduce that time, the duration, that will define your time management. Again, that will depend on your thought process. As I mentioned during the slide, if you keep thinking about the results, if you keep thinking about the consequences, what will happen, it will definitely lose with productivity. You will not be able to focus, you will not be able to get concentration. So what you have to do is, unless otherwise you are able to focus fully, mentally and physically, in whatever you do, that will make the duration very, very less. Focus and concentration alone can help you in time management. And you have to come out from the fear of thinking about the results or outcome.
Yeah. So one last question before we go away. How can we control our mind and overcome overthinking? How can we not be anxious and fearful to take quick and right decisions?
There are few words. I'll just list out few words. There is a tension, there is a worry, or you are sometimes you are anxious. See, just opposite. I'll tell. There is you can be concerned about things, but not worried. The reason is concern is there is something which you want to happen, and you are also thinking about what can I do if it does not happen. So you are thinking from both the sides. That will give you a better perspective, because in case that fails, you can manage. And the moment you start worrying, the moment you start getting anxious, I have only one answer for this. The moment you start thinking about the outcome, the moment you start thinking about the consequences, you are gone. Because you can be concerned, you can get worried only if things are in your control, otherwise not. Especially in this situation where if somebody asks me what will happen if the exams, I manage exams. And if a parent is asking me what will happen if my son is unable to attend exams, you have to find another option. There is nothing is in our control, right? Because you schedule examination and suddenly the power goes away, suddenly there is no internet, suddenly the laptop is down, anything can happen. So the first thing is that the moment you keep thinking about the consequences, the outcome, the results, you are in a soup. You have to come out of that only by thinking, only by training your mind that thinking about the outcome is not going to help you at this point of time. There is a quote by Dalai Lama. He says that instead of thinking what you will do in future, you have to think what you can do now, because that will define what you do in future. Both are related. So instead of thinking on what you can do after 5 years time, that will define that is defined by what you can do now, right? So you have to think, you have to analyze the current situation, learn from the situation, and then adapt to it. And there is no meaning in getting worried whether you are a student or a teacher or a parent. That is why we always say that you should have plan A and plan B. It's always there. It is not just in selecting the college or selecting the career. In every instance you have, even in personal life. So that's the only solution. There is no other solution, because getting worried is not going to solve your problem. If it is solving your problem, I agree with you, but it will not happen. So stop worrying about that. Stop getting anxious about that. That's the only way.
Yeah, thank you so much, Swamiji. And thank you everyone for all your questions. We loved answering it for you. As I mentioned in the beginning, 1,000 people registered and 107 or 108 closed participated. We're not bothered about the numbers, but we really appreciate those 108 who joined us today, because the intention was to spread awareness that there is a life beyond exams. And there is, like, in case I saw a couple of questions in the chat box saying that, okay, if the exams are nonsense, why do we take it? Why don't you take it
I
up
was just
as
reading.
interview? Yes, we did not say that we can just do away with all the exams. At some point of time, you may not take a written exam, but life will always test you. You cannot escape that. Okay, but what the whole point, what we were trying to do, tell you, put it across to you, was that exams is an eligibility criteria for you to get into anywhere. But there are so many other factors in your life that you need to build on, which would take you from a place that you're right now to another place where you would like to be. So instead of testing your knowledge on a subject, we might test your ability to use your knowledge to create something new and innovative, something based on your unique works of art, film production, scientific findings, philosophical musings, startup ideas and performances. Education would be far more powerful in the coming days. So it is going to change. It has already changed. It is going to change. It is within us to adapt to those changes. So the whole idea of having this webinar was to make you understand that you have not lost anything if your examinations are cancelled. You are in fact in the position of, you have an advantage that you can still build up a lot of skills. And, when you think and when you want to achieve something, there is no limit to yourself. Right now, as Swamiji said, sitting here in Kottayam, if I want to do a course from Harvard University, I can do that. I could never imagine doing a course from one of the topmost world-renowned universities 5 years back. But today I can think of that. So it is a matter of exploring yourself. It's a matter of exploring the different areas that you want to go. Don't just live a one-dimensional life. That's the whole point that we were trying to say.
Yeah.
So when you leave your schools, do not leave with a diploma and a transcript. Leave with a resume, a list of real-world personal and team accomplishments that you could proudly point to and which would be able to judge your capabilities and merits. That is what we as educators are moving forward, and you as children. See, there are a lot of flaws. I would take those questions which were on educators. Please understand that educators are humans too. We do make mistakes, tons of them. Okay, some of us accept and some of us do not. But then please, if you have a problem with a particular teacher, always take it up personally. And when you put it across to the teacher, I'm sure the teacher would listen to you and you could both work some amicable solutions to your challenges. So I really am grateful to Maheshwara Chaitanya ji for readily accepting to do this session the moment I mentioned it to him. And it was a pleasure to be a moderator because there was a lot of things. I personally believe that these were all learnings for me. So please accept my humble pranamam, Swamiji. I'm sure all of us are going back with lots of takeaways that will transform the way we see education. And I would also like to express my heartfelt gratitude to Chitra Harikumar, Nija Mohan, and the entire team of Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham who worked behind this webinar tirelessly to make this happen today. Without your efforts, this would not have been possible. And to all the students who have joined us today, may you all make informed choices in your life. May you always believe in you, and may you always have the courage to bounce back. May you make a difference in this world by being you. Thank you for joining us today. And to all the teachers and the parents who have joined us, thank you for keeping your tea time aside for us. And I would like to quote Khalil Gibran on children for you. Your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. They come through you, but not from you. And though they are with you, yet they don't belong to you. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. You may house their bodies, but not their souls, for their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow, which you cannot visit, not even in your dreams. You may strive to be like them, but seek not to make them like you. For life goes not backward, not tarries with yesterday. Let us remember this all the while when we are with our children. And we'll be back soon with another session dedicated to school teachers. See you all again some other day with another topic of discussion. Till then, stay safe and happy. Thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you so much.